Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing okay out there and everything else. But I want to do a little look on just two things. One, I got told this morning that the Starmer, right, is going after war veterans. Taxing on them. Basically. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna have a little look into this. And when you're sort of like, yeah, Labour votes to hit war heroes with Rachel Reeves' nightmare pension death tax. And that was on the 22nd of January that came out on. And let me, guys, show you what I'm looking at as well. Because I think it's only right that you get to see what I'm looking at. Let me just pull. Right, guys, let's have a look, shall we? Ignore the Buy Me a Coffee blow, guys. That's the wrong one. It's actually WW Network now. But anyway. So, as we got here, we got the Labour votes to hit war heroes with Rachel Reeves' nightmare pension death tax. Off-duty deaths in service will be subjected to inheritance tax as children or partners of unmanned service men face charges. Could this be part of the Great Reset where you'll have nothing but you'll be happy? You know what I mean? And because is it interesting that they are taxing us all the time to the hilt? It's like, at the end of the day, governments don't make anything, right? So why should we have governments in there in the first place? Governments is like the middleman. Why are we dealing with the middleman? Shouldn't we do things directly? Why is government the middleman for all these things, right? And says, yeah, grieving families of military workers will be hit with an inheritance tax from April 2027 for the first time after Labour's MPs voted in favour of the raid. Like so many people and so forth, up and down this country who's got family members that have either been in the military or have still in the military. I find this absolutely disgusting, to be honest. I find this absolutely terrible. And on top of that, I've got a story to share to you guys. Um, Somebody in my family who's part of the Marines, they were part of a unit, and one of the people in the unit died, right? And for many years, they didn't have a gravestone, and the unit got together to get him a gravestone and all of that, you know what I mean? Which you do, this is what you do for your comrades, you know what I mean? But they shouldn't have had to do it, but they did it because, they're brothers in arms, you know what I mean? And if the government really cared for the military and all of that and so forth, shouldn't they have got the fallen a gravestone? You know what I mean? End of the day. And this just seems another slap in the face to those who go into service. They put their lives on the line, to go and protect the public. And yet this is going on. You know what I mean? For me, this is an absolute slap in the face, end of the day. You know what I mean? And yet she's going in. Me personally, I think, if she hasn't done time in the military and all that, I think she should go off and fight. Me, when I look at the military and all that, I know I do say, nobody asks me if they're fighting for me. I know I do say that, but when you see people out there and you see them generally defending those that can't defend themselves, right? you got to give them respect. End of the day, I mean, me personally, with this, it says death and service payments are typically a one-off figure issued to name beneficiaries of a military worker who dies while on duty. The amount stands at the equivalent of 4 times the late individual's salary. But this is just, to me, just another way of having a go at the British people. End of the day, this is like saying, "Hey, well, you were going to fight and all that." It could actually be another way of saying, the Britons are not allowed to defend themselves. And as we know, Starmer is linked with the Zionists. We know Starmer said before he came into power that he's a Davos man. He rather Davos. Sort of thing. Plus, we had Sunak, who was also linked with the WEF. We got agents of change that is destroying the UK. Don't look towards Islam that's destroying the UK. We've already got agents of change that's already in the government, that's already in the parliament. You know what I mean? And we've got the public not realizing we're already infiltrated. Think about that. We already in this country, in our democracy, already infiltrated on many, many levels. So, military boys, police, and everybody else, how would you feel if we took back our country? How would you feel? I'm asking a question. How would you lot out there would like to take back your country? How would you like to make Great Britain great again? Because we know it's not going to come from 10 Downing Street. We know that. We know it's not going to come from the Welsh Parliament. We know it's not going to come from the Scottish Parliament. So, how would we, the public, make Great Britain great again? Now, that's a question we've got to ask ourselves. We know who the ones that are suffocating and destroying and all that. So why do we keep going to them? Stop it. Now, we, the public, now need to come together more than ever in human history. We, the people, need to realize, look at the money we've got in our pockets right now. Look at our resources we got around us right now. Me, computers, stream decks, laptops, tripods, cameras, and all that. So I can do the reporting and all that and so forth, or military terms, scouting. And and if your skills have got, your skills are building and so forth and all that, then we'll utilize them. And if your skills is in finances, we could use those for our own version of a treasury. So basically, guys, we have got people in our unit and all that to move away from Parliament, move away from the Welsh Assemblies, move away from Scottish Parliament and all that. And and start our own little treasury or community chest and all that and so forth to make sure those that have, either served in the military or have fallen or who have been poisoned deliberately by corporations and all that because the government has let them, we can help those people out. End of the day, So these people, like your Starmers, Rachel Reeves, your Sunaks, and don't forget other countries have got their versions as well. We've seen people like Dan Andrews, Trudeau, and all of them, right? So, what are we gonna do? It's no point just saying, "Oh, bloody government." If you're in that mindset and you're not gonna do nothing, step aside. If you're just gonna be honest with people, just blame, step aside. We need people that are willing to step up and do things and point things out and bring solutions to the table and stuff like that. In our communities, we've got gardeners. Utilize them. We got the farmers. Help the farmers around you and stuff like that as well. Me, I'm doing my job, reporting and bringing to the forth. And because, don't forget, if we go to here, Oh, that's interesting that they've got that thing. Starmer. If we come to here, Starmer is part of the WEF, an agent for the WEF, right? So, same as Tony Blair, same as HSBC, same as a lot of other things. They're all linked through the World Economic Forum. And the World Economic Forum is the one that is calling some of the shots. I won't say all, but some. Right? And they're all working together. And yet we're the public. I mean, you got a percentage saying, oh, it's the government. Then you got a percentage saying, oh, it's this. No, let's get together as our own group. I mean, and put forth on the public round table what we know. Some of us know about the World Economic Forum. Some of us have seen other things that were within the mainstream. But I mean, we need to come together. Stop this BSing. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's not doing us any good, right? That's not doing us any good at all. All that is doing is letting things get worse and worse and worse. We put the documentations down on the table. Those that can filter it and then put an action plan, those do the action plan for us to move forward. You know what I mean? And plus, if you want your children to be safe and all of that and everything else, you're going to have to look into things that you probably don't never want to look into at all if you want your children to be safe and everything else. Because these men in the military, they went off, thinking they were protecting the families and friends and all that and so forth, and making sure the children are safe in the countries they come from. In this case, the UK. So what are you gonna do about it? I'm already doing stuff. I'm already been putting up posters. I've already been trying to educate people. I've been doing my thing. I've held talks. I've done a lot of things, and I'm still not done yet. I'm still going to be pushing out, and I'm creating a brand new site called WW Network as well. So I'm going to be putting information on that. But what are we gonna do? Because this thing with the tax thing is just the beginning, guys. Because think about it. The military has always been hit. They've made the military small. They made the military this. They made the military that. Now we've got the taxation. Then it's going to be something else. And it's going to be something else. To the point, Britain will be defenseless. We'll have no military. Nothing. Zero. That falls on us, doesn't it? The public. I've said on my shows on Spreaker, up on the Lionheart show. Back in 2015, I said, yes, we've got a military out there that goes out and as a defensive measure, but also it falls on the public to be having intel. You know what I mean? And I've always stated, if we know that there's something wrong and that our military ladies and gentlemen shouldn't be in the battlefield because they are being misused for criminality and all of that, then we, the public, must always step up as well. You know what I mean? The military boys, go out and, and defend the UK. Then it's Republic's duty to make sure they have the right intel, so they are honestly and truthfully defending the UK and defending us from evil. We have a role to play as well. I've always said that. But those who go out and display the flags, whatever, and you're not even making sure that they had, you're not having the military, ladies and gentlemen, fight in honor, then you do not have the right to wave the British flag. Because in the past, I've spoken with a couple of military boys, from my neck of the woods. You know what I mean? And I've talked to them about stuff that I know and so forth. And I've asked them, you know what I mean? Like, should the public be ignorant to what's going on, and have no information and so forth? And therefore, you might go off and fight in battles that you shouldn't be fighting in. Or would you rather us be informed so we can help you not to fight in false wars and fake terrors and stuff? And the two I spoke to, they said, well, with the way you put it, it's best to have a public informed. If we don't know, I mean, then we're going to put our lives on the line for nothing otherwise. And also, if they went and committed an act that could land them in the brig, I mean, it's best to inform our military boys and girls so they don't land up in the brig or dead. I mean, the ladies and gentlemen and all that. I mean, that are part of the military. But what we're seeing here is a government. I mean, and we see it all the time as well on the streets. I mean, that a government allows military veterans and all that to live on the streets as homeless. When we've got a government that allows military men and women to live on the streets, that shows what type of piece of shit establishment we've got. I mean, they can't say we haven't when the evidence, you just gotta walk outside. And if you're looking around your own cities or so forth, or a neighbouring city, and you see a homeless military person, you know the government doesn't give a shit about this country. Every military person that lives on the street proves the government doesn't give a shit about the UK. Every homeless person on the street just goes to show the government doesn't give a shit about the public. Just one person on the street means the government doesn't even care about you as well. Think about that. If governments can allow people to live on the streets, that proves government doesn't give a shit about the people of the United Kingdom. Think about that. Doesn't give a shit about the money you earn. Doesn't give a shit about your children when they grow up. The governments will always allow people to live on the streets. What are we going to do about it as a nation? To tell this government and governments to come, you can't be doing this to us anymore. What are you going to do about it? I know what I'm going to do about it. But what are you going to do about it? So on that note, you guys have a nice day. I'm going to shoot off. No, I mean, I'm not going to shoot off in a violent way because we know how governments and authorities are violent. But I'm going to go now and go around contacting people and stuff like that. And also, guys, I am selling my stuff as well. So give me a DM as well if you're in the Swansea neighbourhood and all of that. DM me on Plightofdragul on Twitter, and let me know. Okay, I'm in the Swansea area. DM me, and I'll give you a rough location where we can meet up and so forth. I mean, maybe in a park, maybe Argyle Park or something like that. But mate, you guys take care, have a good one and all of that, and have a lovely day and everything else. Just remember, governments don't love the people. Therefore, we the people do not love governments. Remember that, because government is just a corporation. So how can a corporation love the people? Remember that. Take care. Have a good day. Make sure you got plenty of food, water, and all that. Make sure you're storing up and so forth. You know what I mean? Because from personal experience, by me storing up food and that about a year or two ago, I'm going for bad times myself right now. That food is helping me right now. You know what I mean? That I stored up. Thank God for that. You know what I mean? But mate, and on that note, take care, and our dear Heavenly Father, make sure the people of this country and everything else and around the world on a public level are protected from every establishment body going. Make sure we serve God and not governments, because serving governments ends up us getting killed, destroyed, and murdered. And our taxes are misused all the time. Also to offshore lending, because the government sends our money offshore. Therefore, the money never goes into our country, into education, health, and other factors in life that we need the money to go into properly. Instead, it ends up into the partners' bank accounts and everything else. So could you please help us out down here? Thank you. Amen. On that note, take care.